All right, so hello and welcome back. So I thought I would give my input on this Unearthed Arcana that's already been out that many people have covered, and I'm probably covering it right before they release a new one. But I thought I'd give my inputs on it anyway. So let's get forward with this. So I've read through this thing. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it. Okay, so what are some of the major things? Is what they're fucking changing is races, backgrounds, starting languages, feats, and crap. Okay, so let's just go through this. So technically, they're no longer giving you specifics on each of these categories. They're kind of just leaving it up to you. Okay. One of the big things is that backgrounds are now going to give you your ASIs, not your race, your background. Okay, that's very important. Your background is also going to give you your proficiencies, like it always did. It's also going to give you one tool proficiency. It's also going to give you one language, and then here's a big bit: is it's going to give you a feat, and then you get equipment. Okay, so this is completely different from standard D&D. They have been playing around with this since around Strixhaven, could be earlier. They've been playing around with this idea of giving feats for backgrounds, and it seems they're going full ahead with it. And perfectly honest, I think this is a good change for your backgrounds. Now, I may not agree with the ability score thing, but I'm basically full send on this whole background thing if we're going to do it like this, okay? So, they've added up races again, okay? So, I'll just go through every race and I'll tell you what I think of some of the changes. So, for humans, you can be medium or small, 2 to 4 foot humans, which is technically a dwarf for us, when you select this race. Now, this is a little problematic. You're going to see when we come to the dwarves, but basically it's because dwarves can't be small, but humans can, which is a little weird. I understand that dwarves are supposed to be bulkier and stuff, but it doesn't really make sense that humans can be this small. Anyway, their speed is 30. They have 80-year lifespan. Now, here's the important bit, okay? They have 3 special traits. So this is for every human. They get inspiration whenever they finish a long rest. Basically, they have lucky once on any roll. And it basically flipped their DM off, which some of my DM friends do not like this, and I think it's honestly a good thing, but some of them don't. So, again, it's going to be up to that. You get proficiency in one skill of your choice as skillful, so you basically get one more skill. Nice. And then you gain the skilled feat or another first level feat of your choice. I would prefer the first level feat of your choice on really anything else but skilled. But skill gives you 3 more proficiencies, which we'll get to the feats later, but really good. Honestly, this human is actually not that bad. It's basically a combo of a human that's already in D&D, and then it's also a combination of custom lineage, which is the race I usually pick for D&D games, now. Next is the Ardling. Okay, so the Ardling, weirdly enough, I think is replacing the Celestial race, or the angelic being. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, but the thing is, they are demi-humans, kind of. They have fur and feathers or bare skin, and they resemble an animal. So they're like a demi-human from an anime, and they can fly because that is the thing. So they can be, again, they can be small or tall. This kind of makes sense for them. Their special thing is they can fly, equal to their movement speed. Um, that is useful, but I'm hoping this class doesn't get banned. Because again, Aarakocras were always banned, but this doesn't seem to be that broken. Mostly because the bonus action is equal to number times your proficiency bonus. Okay. Um, and at max this can be 6, which is a little excessive. But at the start of the game it should be 2 and gets up to 3 and 4 by the time you usually end the games. Um, and it's cool. You can fly. Also, you have one of these legacies. So basically, the legacies basically mean what you look like, in theory. Um, and you basically get these spells when you choose this legacy, because there's 3: heavenly, exalted, or idyllic. So First level, you get guidance as a cantrip. Okay, so the first level basically means level 1. You get guidance, light, or thaumaturgy between these. Okay, guidance is the best here. And then at third, you get divine favor. It's okay. Cure wounds and healing word. Again, idyllic is the best here. And then at fifth, you get lesser restoration, zone of truth, and animal messenger. Again, if I was going to choose one, it'd be idyllic just for the guidance and healing word, because they are not changing death saving throws, at least from what I have read in this document so far. They may very well change it, but if they're not, then yeah, it's just idyllic is the best. Also, you get damage resistance, and when you cast any of these spells, you basically get one cast of each for free, and you can choose what your ability, spellcasting ability is. So it can be intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Again, I like this change because it gives you basically a whole bunch of options whenever you're creating your character for especially spellcasting. Now, Dragonborn is a little different. Okay, so Dragonborn, we're going with a dragon ancestry. Basically, you get a breath weapon and damage resistance based upon the coloration that you are. So again, all the colorations here again depends on what is the best, but lightning is pretty damn good. I'll tell you that. For a damage, I wouldn't say it's most resistant. If you want to most resistant, it'd probably be poison. But either way, you get an action as a breath weapon. Now, this is a little bit of a step back from what they did in the newest book for the Dragonborn, where they added the drakes and all that stuff. Where this thing is basically very good, okay, but it's an action. In the newest book for the Dragonborn, it's one of the newer ones. This used to take an attack action, which made it good, but this is a full action, which makes it dog shit, really. They make a dex saving throw, and the creature takes 1d10 plus your character's level and damage of this type. So in theory, it's actually not that bad of a weapon if you are level 10 and you do 1d10 and you do 20 damage to whatever in 15-foot cones. It's actually not that bad. It's just that it takes an action, which makes it really, really not that good. And you can have it up to your proficiency bonus, and you gain a buck all on a long rest. Again, it's a decent thing, but it's an action, not an attack action, so it is really stretching if it's actually going to be worth it. The damage resistance is very much worth it, obviously, depending on what Dragonborn race you pick. Dark Vision, again, Draconic, as you read Draconic, blah, blah, blah. Now, the Dwarves, okay, as I said, they are a medium, and they cannot be a small, which is weird, but humans can be small. Anyway, I'll leave that subject out of that. A big upgrade is their speed is now 30 feet. Every race in here has 30 feet of movement base minimum. That's a massive change, okay? They have dark vision, dwarves do. They have resistance to poison and advantage on saving throws against a poison condition, which is very handy. Dwarven toughness, your maximum HP goes up by 1 and you increase by 1 whenever you gain a level. Again, very nice. Forge-wise, you gain favor with the tool proficiencies in 2 of the following options. You get 2 more tools, so a total of 3. And you get this new ability called Stone Cutting. Or Stone Cunning. As a bonus action, you gain Tremor Sense within a range of 60 feet for 10 minutes when you are on a stone surface or touching a surface that can't, or touching such as a surface to use a Tremor Sense, okay? Basically, you have to touch a rock. And the stone to be natural, or the stone can be natural or worked. And you use this as a bonus action every time it equal to proficiency, and you get it all back on the long rest. This Tremor Sense is very good. I don't think there's any race in the game that usually just give you Tremor Sense off the bat. I could definitely be wrong because we have so many at this point. But none that I know of give you a range of 60 feet for 10 minutes. That's insane. You can fight in the dark and see as if like perfectly well. Well, you can't actually see, but you can, fight everything and not be getting advantaged on. For example, if they're invisible, you can see them. And you know exactly where they are within 60 feet of you, which is really damn good if you're fighting on stone surfaces. Again, what is defined as a stone surface is really up to your DM. Could dirt be a stone surface because there's stones in it? Could gravel be a stone surface? It's all up to that, okay? All up to your DM on that. But this is a really good dwarf, actually. Maybe not a good mountain dwarf like we have now, but it's still a pretty damn good race, okay? Next is the elves. Okay, so elves are humanoid. They're also only mediums, and they have a speed of 30 feet, and they live, whatever. They have the 60-foot dark vision, and then they have an elven lineage, okay? And basically, we get spells and cantrips depending on your lineage. So, I like how they're doing this, okay? So they're doing drow, high elf, and wood elf, okay? They do first, third, and fifth. Okay, if you go back up, and we go to the Ardling, again, they have first, third, fifth. So this is how they're doing it: first, third, fifth, for all spells for a race, and that's going to make it very simple to adjust things, which I like, and it makes it all across the board. Like there's no race that's going to get one at like fourth level or whatever. It's all standardized, which makes it easier to balance, which I like. Okay. Also, you basically choose which of your ability scores you want the thing to be your spellcasting modifier, which is either intelligence, wisdom, or charisma in this case. And you get, so if you choose Drow, you get dark vision up to 120 feet, and dancing light cantrip, not that good. Fairy fire, very fucking good. Fifth level is darkness, very good if you build for it. You can't actually see magical darkness. That's a little different, but there's ways again to build for darkness. High elf, the prestidigitation cantrip, and whenever you finish a long rest, you can replace that cantrip with a different cantrip from the arcane spell list. Okay, this is actually pretty good. I won't say it's amazing, but it's pretty good. We'll get to the whole spell list thing, but basically you can choose any really of these cantrips in the arcane spell list because that's what they are, and choose and replace one of your cantrips as a high elf whenever you take a long rest, which is very good, or good in my opinion. I won't say it's very good. You also know detect magic at third, and fifth level Misty Step. And again, you can cast all of these once, and then you have to start using your spell. Okay, so you can cast Darkness once and Fairy Fire once. At least the way I'm reading it, you can cast them once each. Okay, and then you have Wood Elf. You basically get the 35 movement speed. You also know Druidcraft cantrip. Okay, it's not amazing. It's good. It's decent. Long Strider. Very good spell for buffing yourself, especially because you're Wood Elf. You go 35, and now you go 45. And then if you add Mobile, you go 55. And then, Pass Without Trace. You have to be okay. The rules that I remember, because again, this is a whole new rule set. Base D&D player handbook, you had to be a ranger or a druid to get Pass Without Trace, if I remember correctly, but mainly ranger. And as a Wood Elf, you just know it. So if you take this on like a fighter, you can give your whole party Pass Without Trace at 5th level, which is amazing. Honestly, that's amazing. For a 5th level that you just get for free because of your race. And then all this is just basically going over the lore and stuff. Also, another thing with the elf is you get advantage on saving throws to keep yourself from avoiding being charmed, just like the natural thing. You have proficiency in perception, so you get one skill like the human. And trance doesn't put you to sleep, and magic can't put you. You don't need sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. Long rest for 4 hours. Basically, you're meditating. All standard stuff from the regular elf and D&D. I like it. So I think decent change for them. Next is the Gnome. So they're a small creature. They have 30-foot movement speed. So again, everyone is base 30 now. They have 60-foot dark vision. They're gnomish cunning. They have advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws. Base. So they can stack this as much as they want, really. There is no limit. If you take Warcaster, again, we're not getting into things, but I'm just using old stuff right now. If you get Warcaster, you get advantage on checks to maintain your concentration. If you get hit, full on Constitution checks, okay? So now you have advantage on 4 saving throws. And then if you were a Barbarian for whatever reason, you have advantage on Dex saving throws. So that's now 5 saving throws you have advantage on. So yeah, and that's not even, you're not proficient in them. You just have advantage on them, but advantage equals like a +5. So again, you basically save on most things, except that they're extremely high level. Also, you can choose a lineage. So a forest gnome knows minor illusion cantrip is actually pretty good, and speak with animals, depending on your campaign, can be pretty good. And you can also cast it with this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain them all on a long rest. So technically 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Pretty decent. The rock gnome, the mending and prestidigitation cantrips, okay? Now, your prestidigitation is a little bit different, so you can spend 10 minutes casting prestidigitation on a tiny, basically, box. It has 5 AC, 1 HP, a toy. I'm summarizing this here. You basically can make 3 of them. They last for 8 hours for 30 gold, and they can produce an effective prestidigitation for a bonus action. How useful is that? Can be quite useful. You could probably just make this on your own, honestly, rather than having to take a whole race to honestly do it. But depending on your DM, of course. But yeah, so they're kind of broken for spells saving, but hey, you know, yeah. So that's gnomes. Halflings are small, 30 feet, and they have brave of these special traits. Basically, you have advantage on saving throws to avoid being frightened, which are fighting high level demons is useful. A lot of things can actually frighten you, surprisingly. And frightened condition means you can't move near them, and if you look at them, you have disadvantage on attacking them, blah, 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 while they're within sight of you. It's bad. So having this decent, not amazing. The halfling nimbleness means you can move through a space at any creature that is a size larger than you, but you cannot stop there. However, you can still squeeze, which means you go past them for movement speed. So, depending on your DM, the ones I play with, there is no front line where you have to like layer it. So, for example, if I'm a player and I want to move through 5 of my friends, I just say I'm squeezing and I run through all 5 of them. At least that's how my DMs run it. A lot of them do the squeezing rule. This just makes it so that you can, technically, even though you can already do... Anyway, so depending on how useful this is depending on your entirely on your DM. Luck, though, whenever you roll a 1 on a d20 of any of these d20 tests, which is basically the new everything d20, you can re-roll the die and you must use a new roll. Now, let me read this again. Whenever you roll a 1 on the d20 of a d20 test, you can re-roll the die and you must use a new roll. There is no limit. There is no limit. There used to be a limit. It used to be in reaction. There is no limit right now. This means that technically, if you had, 6 attacks for some reason, like you were a fighter halfling, and you rolled 6 1s, you can re-roll them and they can all be 20s, in theory. So yeah, that's really good. And you have proficiency in stealth. So halfling, pretty damn good. Next is the orc. Orcs. Okay, so orcs have a humanoid medium, they can't be small, of course, 30 movement speed, 80 years on average. They have this adrenaline rush, which is actually pretty interesting. You can take the dash action as a bonus action. When you do so, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to your proficiency modifier, proficiency bonus. So at maximum, it can be 6 temp HP. And you can do this. Well, let's see. You take the dash action as bonus action. When you do so, you gain a number to point equal to your proficiency modifier. And you can do this as much as your proficiency modifier. So in theory, at like level 17, you could do this 6 times and get 6 HP. So 12, 24, 36 HP in total. That's actually pretty good. Especially because you just have to do the dash action. And you can use a dash as a action as a bonus action. This means you can dash, get health, and move somewhere, and then still have your action to attack. That is very key, okay? It also doesn't specify that it has to, use this whole ability. It just says you can take the dash action as a bonus action, period. What that means is you can dash every single turn as a bonus action. No bar, okay? There is no comma here. Period means you can just do that now. That is very good for orcs. Okay, that's actually a pretty good upgrade. Again, you have dark vision of 60 feet. You have a powerful build, means you can carry more stuff if you play with encumbrance like I do. For my world, it means something, but most DMs doesn't mean shit. And you have relentless endurance, basically when you drop to 0, but aren't outright killed, which is pretty hard to do unless you take 100 damage. So let's just say you're playing a level 10 character, you had 100 HP, and you get knocked to 0. You'd have to get knocked to negative 100 in a turn to die, so it's not going to happen. So you just go to 0 or whatever, and then you get up to 1. And you can use this trait. You can't do so again until you finish the long rest, so 1 time. It's pretty good. It's basically Death Ward once for free. Very good, actually. So Orc, in my opinion, I would say an upgrade from the current Orc. People may disagree with me, but hey, that's what this is for. Next is a Tiefling. Okay, so Tieflings, they get their legacies, okay? And they have 1st, 3rd, and 5th, okay? So at 1st level, 3rd level, and 5th level. So, Tieflings, again, have speed 30, 100 years. They can be medium or small, and they have a legacy. And you know the Thaumaturgy, when you cast it, you can use the same casting as your fiendish stuff, okay? That's it. So, what are your legacies? You basically have Abyssal, Cartholic, and Infernal. You have resistance to poison for Abyssal. You have resistance to Necrotic, and you gain the Chill Touch, and then you gain poison for Abyssal. And then you have resistance to fire and Firebolt. Highly dependent on what campaign you're playing in. In my opinion, poison damage is going to hit you more, so Abyssal is better, okay? But at 3rd and 5th level, you get different spells. You get Ray of Sickness and Hold Person. Pretty good for Abyssal. Cartholic, False Life, and Rave Enfeeblement. False Life is a decent health thing that you can get for free, because again, you can cast these once each. Rave Enfeeblement, okay. Hellish Rebuke, decent. Darkness, pretty good. But again, the resistance to poison, in my opinion, is the best. But again, highly depends on your campaign. You're fighting vampires, you might want to go Necrotic and just get the Chill Touch to stop them from regenerating. Again, pretty good. Like this change for them. Next is the character background, and I don't think they're talking about it here, but if I scroll all the way up, I'll just mention it. Whenever you choose a race, here, I think it's right here. Whenever you choose a race, there are no halves anymore. So there's no half elf, there's no half orc, there's no half whatever. Whenever you choose a race, okay, so let's say you wanted to have like a half something, half elf human. You choose one or the other for all of your abilities. Okay? So you either choose the human side for all the abilities or the elf side for all the abilities. I think this is a good change because it simplifies everything. You choose one or you choose the other for your abilities, and then you can make your character look whatever you want. Also, they have lifespan down here for you merge it in half and then divide by 2. Do whatever you want, honestly. But yeah, so one or the other. I think is a good change for balance. That means they don't have to go balancing a half race. They just balance one or the other. That's it. So I like that. That's pretty good in my opinion. People may disagree, but I think it's a good change for at least balancing reasons. It's pretty good. Next is we're going to go over the backgrounds. So backgrounds give you ability score. They give you 2 skills of your proficiency, a tool proficiency, and a language. And you get a feat, and you get 50 gold. You're starting equipment, blah 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 blah. And then here's the thing. So, ability scores. Since 2014, characters have received ability scores from several sources, either from a race, an ability, score, Tasha's color, and blah, 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 blah. Now we get it from backgrounds, unless you forego another. So, if you make a character using one of these older sources, you get an ability score from it. The character doesn't also get the ability score from the background. Unless you forego the older ability score to gain the increased blah, blah. Okay, they're just putting that there. Let me tell you something straight up fun, okay? This is a new edition for D&D. I don't care what the hell they say. They're like, oh yeah, it's always backwards compatible. Okay, backwards compatible, my ass. Technically, everything was backwards compatible for 4E to 3.5, and everything was backwards compatible from 3.5 to 2. But technically, did anyone actually do that? Fuck no. So officially backwards compatible. Most likely, depending on your group, I don't know what you're gonna do, but more or less everyone's gonna do the new edition, okay? D&D 1. So, having said that, we'll just go through these backgrounds and I'll give you my opinion. Acolyte. So you get 2 wisdom, 1 intelligence. So for a wisdom build, pretty good. Intelligence, insight, and religion skills. Insight is nice. Religion, not really good for, okay. Calligrapher's tools, okay. Language celestial. You get the feat of magic initiate divine. That is pretty good. You devote yourself, blah, blah, blah. You get the equipment, okay? So, pretty good. Artisan. You get 2 intelligence, 1 charisma, Okay, you get investigation and persuasion, very good actually for your skills. Artisan tools, one of your choice. Gnomish, and you get the feat crafter. Okay, so then crafter. I'll scroll down here and we'll just go over some of these feats. So crafter, you are adept at crafting and build and bargaining with merchants, granting you the following benefits. You gain tool proficiencies with 3 different artisan tools of your choice. That's actually, yeah. Whenever you buy a non-magical item, you receive 20% discount on it. 20% discount on plate armor is actually pretty good. 20% discount on a 1 GP item is not very good. So again, the more it costs, the better this is. But technically, you could use this to buy a whole bunch of plate armor and then make it magical if you craft adamantine into it or upgrade it or however you want you and your DM to work that out. You also have faster craft. Whenever you craft an item using a tool which you have tool proficiency in, the required crafting time is reduced by 20%. So you just craft stuff faster. Pretty good. This is more of an intelligence thing for a wizard because you get 2 intel, 1 charisma, but okay. Charlatan, 2 charisma, 1 dex, so you're doing a charisma build. You get deception and sleight of hands. Both are pretty good. Forgery kit is really good. Infernal, depending on your DM, is good. And skill, get 2-3 proficiencies. So again, Charlatan is pretty good. You get a forgery kit and you get all this crap. Okay. Criminal, 2 dex, 1 intelligence. Good for rogues. You get sleight of hand and stealth. Very good. Thieves tools, very good. Thieves can't. Very good. You get alert. Okay, now they changed alert a little bit. Okay, so alert, when you roll initiative, you add a proficiency bonus to the roll, not just a +5. At low levels, this means alert is dog shit. At high levels, this means alert is back to its +5 or even +6. Also, you get to initiative swap immediately after your initiative is roll with 1 willing ally in the same combat, and you can't swap if you or your allies are incapacitated. This is very actually fucking helpful. So, if we just think about this for a minute, let's say you roll a 25, okay? And then your wizard rolled a 1, but all the enemies are grouped together. You can swap initiative with your wizard, give him your 25, hit cast fireball on them, knock them all out. That is very helpful. But again, it's only on you. So you have to be a very high dex character for this to work. So, it could be very worth it, couldn't be. How the dice roll. Occultists. Ew. 2 intelligence, 1 charisma. You get arcane and religion. They're okay. You have a disguise kit, abyssal. Magic initiate arcana is okay. So again, all the magic initiate is really doing is basically giving you cantrips and a spell. So again, you learn the basics of magical tradition from whatever. You learn 2 cantrips, and when you choose, where is it? And you choose 1 level first spell from one of the spell lists. So divine, we'll get to it later, but there's 3 spell lists now. So divine, arcane, and something else. But in theory, magic initiate, good. Cultist, good, I guess, if you want to be a cultist. Entertainer, you have 2 charisma, 1 dex. You gain acrobatics and performance, so you're obviously a bard, and you have another music instrument. Elvish, because that's actually really common language. And you are a musician. Obviously, you have to be a bard if you're going to be an entertainer, okay? And again, a bard is going to have the trait, a musician, which basically gain 2 proficiencies and 3 musical instruments of your choice. You also know an inspiring song when you finish a short or a long rest. So they are actually not getting rid of short rests, surprisingly enough. A lot of people thought they would, but they're not. Or a long rest, you can play a magical musical instrument you have, tool proficiency, and give them inspiration. Give inspiration to allies who can hear the song. The number of allies you can affect this way is a proficiency bonus. So, you can get fucking inspiration out after a short rest with the musician trait. If I am reading that correctly. That is very good. Okay, I take back what I said. That is very good for entertainer. If you pair entertainer with a bard and you can give everyone in your party inspiration, that doesn't go away? That's amazing. And if you all play humans that automatically get one every long rest, you're gaming. You basically all have 2 luckies at that point, really, per day or per long rest. You have 2, and if you take a short rest, you have unlimited. That's actually really good. Holy crap, that's actually broken. Next is a farmer. You have 2 con, 1 wisdom, obviously, because you gotta wheat the fields. You have animal handling, nature. You have carpentry tools. You know the language of halfling, and you have tough. Tough gets you more HP. So you grew up from the land. You get tough. So tough, again, is going to get you basically just more HP. Just from what I basically remember off the top of my head, because obviously Konrad can't find the damn thing. Wow, there it is. Here it is. So you get two more HP equal to your character level when you gain a level thereafter. So basically, very good because as a background, it gives you it at first level, which means it will be with you for the rest of time, which is very good. So you get 2 HP whenever you get the trait. So technically, if you took it at 18th level and you got to level 20, you only get 4 HP. At level 1, level 20, a lot more benefit. Next is the Gladiator. Okay, so Gladiator, you get 2 strength, 1 con, so strength build. Athletics and performance, good. Smith tools, orc, and you have the Savage Attacker feat, okay? Savage Attacker, come on, let's see. Let's see if I can do this. Savage Attacker is going to get you, when you attack, you hit a target with an action, you can reroll weapon damage twice. What? Okay, and you hit a target with a weapon as part of an action. You can reroll the weapon's damage die twice and use either roll against the target. You can also use this as a benefit only once per turn. Twice? That means you can, whenever you take the attack action and hit a target with a weapon as part of that action, you can roll the weapon damage twice. That's a little misleading, but what I think they're trying to say is whenever you do this, you use the attack action, you can reroll a hit. So you hit, you roll the dice, and then you rolled again. Okay, that's what I'm thinking they're trying to say here. They did a very bad way of saying it, but that's what they're saying. So you just 1 reroll just like it is traditionally. At least I think. Hopefully they didn't fuck it up too badly. Or it means you get 3 rerolls, which is a lot of chances to get a lot of max damage. So, okay. Guard, 2 strength, 1 wisdom, athletics and perception, 2 of the damn best things, 2 proficiency in gaming set, or 1 of your choice. Dwarvish, alert. Alert lets you swap, so pretty good. A fighter, obviously. A dex fighter would be better, but what you gonna do? Guide. Okay, so you get 2 wisdom, 1 dex, stealth and survival, pretty good. Cartographer's tools, giant, the magic initiate primal. Pretty good. Hermit gets you 2 wisdom, 1 con, wisdom build, magic, medicine, and religion. Those are not actually very good. I'll be honest with you, I don't think they're very good. Herbalism kit, Sylvan. You could work it in to be good, but it's not amazing. And then primal, which is basically druidic magic. So yeah. Laborer, 2 con, 1 strength, athletic survival, mason's tools, dwarvish. The tough feats, so you're tougher. Again, con, never a bad idea, so this is a fighter again. Noble, 2 con, 1 intelligence, history persuasion. Gaming set of your choice, draconic, you are skilled, so you get 3. And pilgrim is 2 wisdom, 1 con, religion and survival. It's not very good. The musical instrument, 1 of your choice, language halfling, and healer. Okay, so healer, I think, actually did get reworked. I could be talking out my ass. But come on. Healer. So, healer did actually get reworked. So, in a battlefield medic, you have a healer kit. You can expend 1 use of it and tend to a creature within 5 feet as an action. That creature can expend 1 of its hit die. This is new. 1 of its hit die, and then roll that die. The creature regained a number of hit points equal to the roll plus your proficiency bonus. So they roll. Let's just say they take a fighter, so it's 1d10 plus 4 or 3 most likely for you. There's no limit to that. Let me read this. There's no limit. If you have a healer kit, you can expend 1 use and tend to a creature within 5 feet as an action. That creature can expend 1 of its hit die and then roll that die. The creature regains. Okay. Well, I guess you don't ever need to take a short rest then, because heck, the only thing you ever get back on a short rest at this point is very few abilities. And usually short rests are for re-rolling your hit dies. And the healer kit is not that expensive. I think it's like 10 gold. And you can make someone roll all of their hit die as an action, so 6 seconds. So maybe in total it takes you 2 minutes for everyone to, if you're not adding combat, everyone to like roll all of their hit die. You get a lot of health back actually. The creature regains the number of hit points equal to the roll plus your. Also, whenever they roll a hit die, technically it's their con modifier. So we think about this. That's 1d10 plus, let's just say 4 for their con. Then they also get your proficiency bonus, which will be like a 3 or something. So that's 5, 6, 7. That's 7, 1d10 plus 7. That's really good. That's really good. Holy shit. This is a really good feat. It's game breaking, kind of, but it is really good. You also healing rerolls. Whenever you roll a die to determine the number of hit points you restore with a spell, or with this feat, Battle Medic benefit, you can reroll the die as if the roll's a 1, you must use it to reroll. If you cast Cure Wounds and you roll like a D1 instead of a D4, you can roll the D4 in theory. Again, not amazing for that. This is broken. Like that. Very good change. Very, very good. So you get the healer. The Sage, 2 intelligence, 1 wisdom, Arcana, history, calligrapher's tools. You get the language Elvish. You know Magic Initiate, Arcana. So page basically. Sailor, 2 dex, 1 wisdom, acrobatics, perception. Navigator tool, you know Primordial, and you have the feat Tavern Brawler. So they reworked Tavern Brawler too. And I actually know where this one is as I say that, I lose it. So Tavern Brawler is changed. So you have an enhanced unarmed defense, unarmed strike. When you hit a target with an unarmed strike, you deal damage to your, and can deal bludgeoning damage equal to 1d4 plus your strength mod instead of the usual damage of an armed strike, which is 1d4, I think, just by itself. Damage reroll. Whenever you roll a damage die for your unarmed strike, you can roll. Basically, you roll a 1, you can roll whatever. Again, you can shove. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike as part of an attack action on your turn, you can deal damage to that creature and also push it 5 feet away. You can use this benefit only once per turn. If you pair this with Sentinel, half decent, I think. Well, because you have to punch them, throw them 5 feet away from you, so they're another 10 feet away. Then they have to come in, and then you have to hit them, but they can still hit you, so it's not really worth it. You can wield furniture as a weapon, meet the rules of great, clever, medium for furniture, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it's not... Tavern Brawler used to be able to give you a bonus action to grapple. That is no longer a thing, it appears, so sad. And you get that crap. Soldier, 2 strength, 1 con, athletics, intimidation. You have a gaming set of one of your choice. Goblin, you know, savage attacker, again, basically 1 reroll, or 3, or 2 rerolls in total, 3. Urchin, you know, 2 dex, 1 wisdom. You have insight and stealth. Thieves' tools, common sign language. So you know sign language in the common tongue. Okay. And you have lucky. Okay. And then we'll get to the languages. So lucky, I don't know if it actually got changed. Oh, it did. So lucky, you have a number of luck points equal to your proficiency bonus. You can spend these points on the following benefits whenever you basically gain it back on long rest. Whenever you roll a 1 on a d20 test, you can spend blah, 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 blah to gain advantage. Immediately after you roll a d20 for a d20 test, you can spend 1 lucky point to give yourself advantage on the roll. That, I don't know why they say you have advantage. Just say you can re-roll it. Whenever a creature rolls a d20 for an attack against you, you can spend 1 disadvantage. Okay. That's weird. It should just say that it'd make them re-roll it, but fuck it. All the same, you can re-roll. And your proficiency bonus. So now this means you can have 6 luck points at level 17, which is insane because the standard one gives you 3. When you start the game, you have 2. So a little downgrade for like level 1 through 5, I think. And then 5, you get 3, the standard amount. And then it goes up from there. So Lucky's actually got pretty buffed right there. Again, as long as you don't play at like level 1 through 4 for all your campaigns. It's not that bad. Starting languages. So these are all the starting languages. So you basically have common, So all these languages, I'll leave this here for you to read, but basically standard languages, and then it tells you who uses them. Rare languages, and it tells you who uses them. I like the fact that they actually wrote this down, because usually you had to go to a different website to even figure out like what all this stuff meant. So like Draconic Generation, Druidic, Infernal, Devils, Primordial, Elementals. See, gives you ability to quickly see who is using what. Okay, I like that. Pretty good. Pretty good. And then here are some feats. I'll go over the feats that I didn't go over previously. So we'll just make it fast, or I'll just go over them really quick. Again, alert, pretty good. Stopping initiative with somebody, very good. Especially if their enemy's grouped up, you can stop with a wizard and you can cast Fireball, very good. And it's a proficiency bonus now, so slight downgrade there. Can be upgraded to +6. Crafter, 20% off plate armor, very good. 20% off mug of ale. That's 1 gold, not so good. And you can, proficiency in 3 different artisan tools if you want to make stuff, and then you craft slightly faster. Healer, very good, broken good. You basically can give everyone the ability to use a hit die whenever you use an action on them, okay? And at max, in theory, it's like 1d10 plus their proficiency, or their con modifier, so +4, and then your proficiency bonus +3, 1d10 +7. And you can do this a number of times until you basically run out of medkits, and medkits are very inexpensive, especially if your party gives them all to you because you're the battle medic. And you can reroll 1s on cure wounds. Meh. For that, but battle medic is very good, so healer is really good. Lucky is fucking insane, because you can now have 6 luck points instead of 3, and you can reroll, just like you always could. Yeah, that's... yeah. Magic Initiate is the same as always been. It's always a good pickup. Just depends on what you want to do from it. There is 3 different lists of spells. So Arcane, Divine, and Primordial. You choose 2 cantrips and 1 spell list from there. And you can cast a spell once. And then you get a long rest. Or you can cast it once and then use your actual mana or magic, whatever, for that. Again, good. Just good. I wouldn't say very good. I just say good. Musician, very damn good. Because you now can get on a short rest, you can give everyone in your party inspiration as long as you get proficiency bonus. So in theory, you could give this to everybody, which is amazing. And they all get a reroll. And if they all pair with human, you get 2 rerolls. And you can do this per short rest, which means their resting is not a combined only long rest, or it still have short rest. Savage Attacker basically lets you reroll once or twice, depending on how they want to unfuck this wording. Skilled gives you your exceptionally ward. You have 3 more skills. Again, all the same as always been. Good. Wouldn't say very good. Just good. Tavern Brawler. I wouldn't pick it up anymore. I really don't see a fucking reason to. If you're a DM, you could just give this to people for free if they got into a bar fight once. That would be a very nice thing for you as a DM to do. I would absolutely never pick this up. For me, I could see it being used for a monk, but monk uses dex, unless they're reworking monk. Anyway, too complicated. There is a way to make Tyrant Brawler work, probably. I don't want to do it, though. So, yeah. Tough, more HP, good. So, now we're just going to go over some of the last little things here. Is basically, in order to prices, those tools are now cost 15 GP a piece. So, artisan tools cost 15 GP a piece. Apparently, I think. But ignore these prices. Those tools are now 15. So yeah, 15 GP for everything. Thank God. Made no sense. Everything was random prices. Again, just arbitrary numbers. But now 15. Very good. Every creature these are the creature types in the game. A D20 test is basically the new everything for D20s. Okay. Now they have changed the critical hits, which I will now go into because everyone is doing a goddamn hissy fit. Weapons and unarmed strikes have a special feature for player characters, no one else. Critical hits. If a player character rolls a d20 for an attack roll with a weapon or unarmed strike, the attack is also a critical hit, which means it deals extra damage to the target if you roll the damage die of the weapon or unarmed strike a second time and add the damage as a extra damage to the target. For example, if a mace deals 1d6 plus your strength mod. If you score a critical hit, instead it deals 2d strength plus your strength mod. If your weapon or unarmed strike has no damage die, it deals no extra damage on a critical hit. So, this is changing, obviously, how critical hits work. Can't use it on spells. Can't use it on Divine Smite because it's technically adding more, so you can't do that. So I already know one of my friends is a paladin main, fucking absolutely pissed, and will refuse to play D&D unless we change this rule. So I'm imagining they're going to change it. If they don't change it, you can house rule it. If not, well, this is maintaining what fighters and everyone else that could do a frontline could do, kind of, but nerfs paladins a little bit, so it's a little nerd downgrade. And then for spellcasters, it's just a massive downgrade in damage. So that's that. Also, it says specifies player characters. If you're a DM, you can make a player character as an NPC. There is nothing saying it has to be an NPC or a player character. If you use Foundry, you know what the fuck I'm talking about here. Player characters and Foundry can have inventories, and NPCs can't. It's a whole bunch of shit. Anyway, your NPCs, in theory, still aren't unaffected by this. At least your important NPCs shouldn't be unaffected by the critical hits unless you're a spellcaster and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, the most controversial issue. What do I think of it? It's gonna nerf spellcasters real hard, and paladins real hard, and rogues real hard, for no real tangible benefit other than people don't die very quickly. I'm in the middle on that, honestly. And divine spells. So yeah, I think they're just gonna go over divine spells. Divine spells draw power from the gods and outer planes, celestial. Clerics and paladins, hardest is magic for the partial. List of divine spells, see the blah 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 blah. They're going over the grappled. While you're grappled, blah blah, your attacks at disadvantage, you can move and escape. Again, these are all the same things. Incapacitation. Your concentration is broken, yeah, obviously you're unconscious. Inspiration, when you inspiration, you give yourself advantage on a D20 test. Gaining inspiration up to the DM, but really you can just give yourself it at this fucking point. You can lose inspiration. If you still have inspiration when you start a long rest, you lose inspiration, obviously, I guess, if you only have one, but house ruling it. You can never have more than one instance of inspiration. Ooh! You can never have more than one instance of inspiration. If someone gives you inspiration, you already have it. You give your inspiration to character. You can give your inspiration to a party character, player character in the group who likes it. That's good. So your musician is still fine. Good. Going over the rest, going over this shit, going over the spells, blah, 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 blah. So, an unarmed strike. So what they did is an unarmed strike is a melee attack, blah, 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 blah. Your bonus to hit with an unarmed strike is a proficiency bonus, blah, 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 blah. Grapple. The target is grappled, and the grappler escape. You can trying to this grapple is only possible if the target is no longer. So basically, you can grapple and shove and all that other shit as an unarmed strike, technically. On a hit, your unarmed strike causes one of the following effects of your choice. So basically, you can hit somebody and grapple them, which is actually pretty good. Except their speed goes to fucking 0. Yeah, so your speed and you can't change. Because when you grapple somebody, they also can't. The grappler can drag or carry, but the grappler suffers the slow condition while moving unless they carry. Okay, so they suffer the slow condition. Slowed got changed, so you spend 1 movement speed for every foot you move. You spend an extra 1 foot of movement speed, so double your attacks against you have advantage. Attack rolls against you have advantage. Disadvantage on... Okay. Huh. That's weird. The grappler can drag or carry you, but the grappler suffers the slow condition while moving unless they are tiny. Okay, while moving. Okay, very good. So only while moving you're going to get absolutely decked on. Which, okay. But yeah, so unarmed strike, basically you punch somebody and grapple them. So I would like to see the monk combo on that. That would be actually pretty interesting. And tremor sense, you can't detect creatures or objects in the air, obviously. So, lastly, we'll just go over this real quickly. They have changed spells so they're not all over the fucking place anymore, okay? So it's not like bards have certain ones and rangers have certain, I don't know. They got rid of all that shit, okay? 3 spell list. Arcane, Divine, Primal. Very good change in my opinion. Oh my god, this is amazing. This lets them balance. I don't know why the hell they did the old system, but this is so much better. You can have 3 different spell lists, and you can say, hey, look, you get this spell list, this spell list, this spell list, or this spell list. And Magic Initiative, you get 2 cantrips from here, 1 spell. It makes it so much fucking easier as a DM to run. This right here, yeah, If this was the only change they did, I would be happy. If this was the only change they ever did on this to the new D&D edition, basically is what this is, I would be happy. But again, they give us a whole bunch of other shit. But this right here, amazing. Just on its own. I'm not going to talk about all the spells here, but yeah, just having 3 different spell lists that you can get assigned makes running the game and giving spells and giving spell lists so much easier. Oh my god. I can't tell you how much I love this, okay? So, I hope you found that informative. I hope you found my rambling nice. Go ahead and leave me a like if you like that stuff. Otherwise, I'll be back for the next one that they will release. It should be sometime soon, actually, I'm thinking. Otherwise, I will see you people next time.